Dow is up slightly today, bolstered by sales in snow shovels. Kidding, of course. It's being driven by hot chocolate. Investor Beat starts now. Thanks for watching. I'm Alison Southwick, and joining me in studio is Jason Moser. We're just going to get to our top story today. Food service provider Sysco announced today that they will buy rival U.S. foods, creating what is being described as a food distribution giant with about $65 billion in annual revenue potential here. Sysco stock is up big today as a result. Jason, what did you think of the deal?
I was thinking food distribution empire, but I guess giant works just as well. I mean, I think this is a business where scale really matters, and even though Sysco to date does possess a lot of scale, it's still not really translating into a very well-performing stock. I mean, you look at the past 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, year to date, the stock has just woefully underperformed the market. And I think that's for a number of different reasons. It's just a very competitive sector with a lot of difficult pricing headwinds, I think. So the acquisition makes sense from a scale perspective, but I'm not necessarily sold that it's just going to be sort of the magical elixir that changes the picture for Sysco.
So for investors in this industry, what are some other drivers that they should be looking at? You mentioned scale.
Yeah.
What else is important to watch?
Well, I mean, their big customers are restaurants. More than 50%, really close to 60% of their customers are restaurants. But they also serve hotels, healthcare services, healthcare facilities, and even educational facilities as well. So spending in those areas will help drive their results. And those are also tied, generally speaking, to unemployment and general economic conditions. So when economic conditions are slow, they're going to witness, I think, some difficult times. And we've seen this over the past 5 years. If you look at their gross margins over the last 5 years, they've fallen almost 1.5 full percentage points, which means they're losing some of their pricing power. They're having to cut prices to deal with some of that food cost inflation and pricing pressure out there. So those are the things to keep an eye on. I don't know that there's any reason for it to really turn around anytime soon, but there you go.
Right. So when it comes to the things we eat, it sounds like maybe Sysco is not where you're looking as an investor.
No, for me, I mean, Sysco, the stock has never really proven itself to me to be anything really worth holding. When I'm looking at food or restaurants, I mean, I'm looking for the smaller players in that space that are taking part of, I think, sort of the trends going forward, healthier eating, or at least the fast casual segment, where there's some really interesting names out there, Chipotle being one. I mean, I own shares of Chipotle personally. So those companies have, I think, more attractive growth prospects and more loyal consumer bases, and they possess a little bit more pricing power as well to deal with those food costs.
All right, well, let's stay on the topic of fast casual here, and actually fast food, as we look at some of the day's movers and shakers, because McDonald's is down today after reporting that same-store sales for November just missed some analyst expectations here. So I don't want to undercut what you just said, but some analysts think that the reason McDonald's is having a rough go here is because they have expanded their menu to include healthier items, smoothies, salads, wraps, that kind of thing. So do you think McDonald's made a mistake by going healthy, or where do you think their problems lie?
Well, I mean, I think there's no question that McDonald's had to do something to change their menu around a little bit. I mean, as time goes on, I mean, we know more and more that fast food is just not really all that good for you, and it's not really that good to begin with. So on the one hand, yeah, I think they have to try something new, but by the same token, when McDonald's presents a salad or some kind of healthy alternative meal, I don't think that consumers necessarily look to McDonald's first and foremost for something like that, because there are a lot of other good options out there. I mean, McDonald's, again, it's a scale game there with 35,000 plus restaurants around the world. There are bigger problems to have, I think. But by the same token, I don't know that we should expect any real robust growth from McDonald's anytime soon for that.
All right, tech giants, including Twitter, Apple, Google, and Facebook, wrote an open letter to the president and Congress today calling for reform in how government agencies access data from online companies. Twitter was up as much as 8% today. Others saw small bumps. Why did Twitter get all the love?
Fly high, little birdie, right? I mean, that is something, I think it's easy to look at that and think, well, that's great. Google and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and the like are focused on an issue like that. But you're right, they're the only one really getting any kind of a bump there. I think it's really for two reasons other than this. I mean, we've seen some recent estimates coming out for the global mobile ad market here over the next few years, and that's predicted to reach up to $45 to $50 billion here by 2016, up from about $13.5 billion today. I mean, global mobile advertising is Twitter's bread and butter, and so I think there are some assumptions there that Twitter will be able to pick up more market share where that's concerned, and the facts are the facts. Twitter is picking up more share on young audiences there at the cost of companies like Facebook. So I think that it's not a zero-sum game, right? It's not like Twitter wins, Facebook loses. But I think that there's more room for Twitter to grow its user base as opposed to something like Facebook. And I think that's got investors keeping an eye on it.
Abercrombie Fitch is taking a hit today after announcing that it has renewed the contract with controversial CEO Michael Jeffries. Investors really want this guy out. Now, he was pretty responsible, it sounds like, for actually making Abercrombie a household name. But boy, lately, the things that come out of his face are just amazing. So do you think he's taking the company as far as it's going to go?
I have to believe. I don't think he can backtrack really on what he said because he doesn't seem to have any real regret for saying it. So yeah, I mean,
like saying that he didn't want fat girls to wear his clothes.
Well,
that was
perfect example. And I mean, I just don't think how you just can't backtrack from something like that. So I mean, certainly he has done a lot to get the company to where it is today. Teen retail is very fickle to begin with, and yet at 69 years old, I don't know that he has much room left to run with his company. I would be surprised if he made it past this year. I think they renewed this contract for him to really try to get some kind of a successor plan in place in order to be able to try to sort of turn this brand around and make it a little bit more attractive for us uncool people.
Right. All right, that's going to do it for today. Let's look ahead. What is one stock on your radar?
You know, with the holiday season, SodaStream is one that I have been keeping an eye on a lot lately. Now, I don't own any of the products. I do drink a lot of Diet Coke. I have to admit, I'm a soda guy. But SodaStream has always interested me because once you get that machine in your house, I mean, then they just sell those refillable cartridges, the CO2 cartridges and the flavor cartridges. Those are really high margin sales. And so all they have to do is really fight to get that installed base of machines in homes. And there is a very big market opportunity out there for the U.S. I think there have been some concerns about growth in the U.S. lately, and that's really knocked the stock down. And I think that if they can pull off a good holiday season, today's stock price is going to represent a very good opportunity. So that's what I'm watching.
All right, well, before we go, this year's philanthropy drive, we're raising money to help build schools in Nicaragua with Pencils of Promise. You can learn more about how you can join other Fools in supporting a great cause by going to fool.com/give. For Jason Moser, I'm Alison Southwick. Thanks for watching.